So good afternoon all. All of you are welcome to the fourth standard English training class. I'm so happy and excited to be here with you today and hope I'll get a lot of new creative ideas in order that I can use in my own classroom. So my dear teachers, I would like to make this session an interactive one. Today I'm not going to teach you anything new, but I would like to help you by giving certain instructions or certain activities that I prepared myself to be used in my classroom. Okay. So then I hope all you have attended the first session of KRSMA training and waiting for the second session. Yes. So teachers, I'm not going to tell you anything about the aims and objectives of an English teacher. That I think all of us know about that. What are the aims of an English teacher? What are the objectives of an English teacher? And how an English teacher would be like that. Everything we had heard about this during our course time. So I would like to drag your attention to our lessons, the second and third term lessons of English. And before that, I would like to show you a picture. Let me share my screen. Hope my screen is visible for you. Somebody please respond. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. So here you can see communication skills, the fourfold skills in English. We cannot skip this matter when we are going to teach our students. This is the most important thing that an English teacher should aware about. These are the communication skills. So here you can see the proportion or the percentage of each communication skills. When we look at this, you can see the most important thing is listening. I think you know the four skills in English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So among these four, we should give prior concern to the listening skill of our students. So unfortunately, what is happening in the classroom is we are giving much stress to the reading and writing skills of our students. So I have a request that, especially for the LP students, the teachers should give stress on the listening skill of the students. So what we can do for that? That we can provide them a maximum opportunity to listen something. We will make use of audio vision aids in order to improve the listening skills of our kids. The second priority should give to the speaking ability of the students, speaking skills. While we are giving stress to the speaking skills, the teacher should concern about the pronunciation of our kids. As we all know, LP students, the teachers are providing a foundation for the LP students. Is it? So, if the foundation is strong, it will be more easy for us to make them masters in English. So teachers, you please listen this. This is the actual practical session that we want to use in our classroom. Listening, 45% of our students should be always listen something. Continuous listening of something that will make them more interested in English, and that will make them, as I told you, masters in English. Then 30% of speaking and reading, 60%, and writing only 9%. I think without showing this picture, I cannot move forward. As I told you, the teachers are giving more stress to the writing and reading skills of our students. Okay, then now let us analyze the units of the second and third term of fourth standard English. So when we take our units, I think the first two units are coming under the first term. And according to the scheme of what proportion of our portions, we are just considering the third and fourth, fifth units as second and third term units. So let us come to the third unit. The third unit, the language of birds. And here I have to tell you that each lessons in our units are connected with certain themes. Everything that we are going to introduce to our kids are associated with a particular theme. So for an English teacher, without considering the class, whether it is LP or UP or high school, that doesn't matter, but they should find out a particular theme for each lesson. We have to set up a theme first. Then after that, whatever the activities or whatever the lessons that we are giving to our kids should have a connection with the theme, and that's the way, or that is the first thing when a teacher wants to prepare herself for the classes. So let us analyze what would be the theme of the language of birds. Can anybody tell me what would be the theme, or what is the theme that we are setting before we are going to start the lesson, the language of birds? Can anybody tell me? I told you in the beginning, I would like to make this an interactive session. I'm not going to teach you anything new. Okay, so let us have an interaction now. And we are meaning, or we are mentioning, or we are giving stress to the activity-oriented or student-centered classrooms here. So can anybody tell me what would be the theme of the third unit, the language of birds? Can anybody? Please come forward. Don't you have any idea about that? Okay, I will tell it myself. That's better, I think. The main theme is love for nature. Love for nature. We have to create love for nature in our students. Our students should love the nature. They should enjoy the nature. Okay, we should make them perfect or living harmony with the nature. So that is the theme we can set up for the lesson, for the unit, what the language of birds. And when we open our textbook, we can see a load of learning outcomes listed in the textbook. I think you might have known that there are a load of learning outcomes are listed here. But here I just prepare some more learning objectives for that. I have prepared, or I have find out some more learning objectives, and that can we make, or that we can add along with these learning outcomes given in the textbook. So teachers, let me share my screen once more. Hope it is visible for you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the language of birds, this is the unit. And the theme that we are setting already set up, that love for nature. And there is a sub-theme. What is that? Empathy towards fellow beings. We can tell our students the importance of showing empathy towards other fellow beings and living in harmony with others. So, teachers, here we can add some additional points that we can make sure what are the difference between or what is the difference between the two words empathy and sympathy. As we are dealing with small kids, it's not necessary to make a big speech about the difference between sympathy and empathy. That will not working, but we have to tell them what is the difference between empathy and sympathy. So here, this is the sub theme that we can take for this unit, the language of birds. Then here you can see some learning objectives. Read and comprehend simple texts in English. Then construct dialogues appropriate to the context. Then identify rhyming words in a poem and add more lines to it, considering the theme, rhythm, and structure. Then identify new words and find out their meanings. Read and write the names of different birds and their body parts. Associate different birds with their features. Describe the picture in his or her own words. Express his or her own feelings in writing. Then answer simple riddles and make similar riddles. Design posters suitable to the theme. Use of I wish I could and all, some, and meaningful context. Use describing words such as foggy, sunny, snowy, rainy, cloudy, etc. Then undertake simple project work given. Last one, engage in origami works by following instructions. So teachers, these are some of the learning objectives, and most among these you can see in our textbook itself. Okay, so before I told you, the first thing that a teacher want to set a theme for the lesson, and we have to find out the sub themes also. Then after that, we have to set up certain learning objectives. So these are the first and foremost thing that a teacher should make sure that she is ready to get into a lesson. Then now we have a theme in our hand and we are setting some learning objectives. Then we are moving to a classroom. So can anybody tell me how we can start a classroom or how we can start our lesson? That we all know we should find out an entry activity. Isn't it? We are focusing on activity-oriented classrooms. So it is must to find out a suitable entry activity for our kids. The entry activity should be interesting, should content related, and through the entry activity, we can arouse the curiosity of the learners. So we have to take a lot of homework before we are planning to do some entry activities. So here, for starting the lesson, the language of birds, you can use different types of but numbers of entry activities. And I have find out the entry activity that you might have or many of you have already used that. നിങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ അറിയാവുന്നതായിരിക്കും, യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. എന്നാലും ഒരു രണ്ട് entry activity as a contribution. Then let us ask our students to make a paper bird. Through that we are going to deal a lesson of language of birds. Yeah, so we can assign our students or we can give instructions to our students to make paper birds. We can make use of videos. Okay, we can make use of different videos in order to help the students to make paper birds. Then another one is that a common entry activity is interactive. questions. While asking interactive questions, we can enter to our text. What kind of interactive questions that we can ask? Yes, definitely it should be connected with our theme or connected with the lesson, the name of the lesson, the language of birds. We can either ask the students, do you like birds? A familiar question for our kids, a familiar one. And the teacher should remind one thing, the interactive question should be clear and small. That only the student can give a much reply. വലിയ വലിയ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒക്കെ ചോദിച്ചാൽ we can't get, or students will not be able to give us correct reply. So let us ask, what do you like birds? Which is your favorite bird? And which is our national bird? And something like that. Through these kinds of simple and silly questions, we can take our kids directly to our lesson. So these are the entry activities that I suggest for you. Then I know the teachers who are sitting before me are very creative, and you might have known some other entry activities too. Then next is taking off or discussing the lesson. We will tell the story. I think no need to explain the story to you. The story is familiar for all. It's a story of a brave young boy called Ivan, and just he wished to know the language of birds. He got, or he learned, the language of birds through helping a bird's family. Then he understood the meaning of the nightingale's song, and he made a prediction that in future he would become a king and his master would be his servant. That you know the story, I think. Yeah. Then when we connected our learning objectives to our story, the first learning objectives that we set is to familiarize certain new words for our kids. I think there is a lot of new words in this lesson. You can introduce a lot of number of new words from this lesson. But whenever we are introducing a new word, the most important thing that we should keep in mind that we should ask the students to make their own sentences by using the new word. We can help them by providing the meaning, whether in English or Malayalam, but after knowing the meaning of that word, we should instruct our kids to make their own sentences by using that word. Then only a kid or the children would be able to grasp the meaning of that word, and he or she should be aware how the word is used in a sentence. So that's the most important thing where the teacher should notice while we are teaching them a new word. Then when we going to go through the pages, what we can understood that the theme that we set up earlier is quietly apt for the story. Ivan showing kindness to the nightingale or birds, and that made him to be a king in the future. So after that, after taking the whole story, let us ask our kid a question. What would you learn from the story? Okay, what would you learn from the story? And what do you understand from the story? Only after taking the whole session, we can ask our kids, what do you understand from the story? We know that in each story, we have to provide a moral lesson to our kids. We, the English teachers, are not meant to teach them stories or poems. That's not our that's not our only aim. And we have to do something more. Okay, so after each lesson, If we are able to give them a moral lesson, that is the best thing. Okay, so here, after taking the story, complete story, let us ask our kid the question, what will you understand? What do you understand from the story? Then we will get an answer. We will get an answer. നമ്മൾ ചിലപ്പോൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കാത്ത ആൻസേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ കുട്ടികൾ പറയും. അവർ ഈ സ്റ്റോറിയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇങ്ങനെ പഠിച്ചു, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ കിട്ടി, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ മനസ്സിലായി. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ തന്നെ അറിയാതെ ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ അവർ ഇതിന്ന് പഠിച്ചു എന്ന് നമുക്ക് തന്നെ അത്ഭുതം തോന്നാവുന്നതാണ്. So the teacher should ask the question, what do you get from the story? And if they give us any answer, we might not get the expected answer, but that doesn't matter. But if the student just give us a replay, yes, we can say we have successfully completed the story. That's it. Then, after taking the story, we will directly go to the next poem. Here, you can see a poem, If I Could Fly. Actually, I have set up a video of that, but unfortunately, I think my audio is not supported. That's why I cannot play that video right now. But anyway, if you search the YouTube, you will get a lot of poems, a lot of the same poem, If I Could Fly. So teachers, you can make use of that videos. First, we should play the video. Then we can go through the lines. We will explain the lines. We will conduct certain interactive session. We will ask some interactive questions. And after that, after taking the whole poem, we have to play that video once more. That's the better way, I think, which we can use to teach them a poem. Okay, first play the video. Then we will have a discussion. We will go through the lines. We will explain them the lines. Then after that, play the video again. Then I think If I Could Fly, I'm not explaining each and every line that you teachers are familiar with us. ഓരോന്നായിട്ട് പറയുന്നില്ല, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു സപ്പോർട്ടിംഗ് മെറ്റീരിയൽ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളെ പറയുന്നുള്ളൂ കേട്ടോ. Then here, there are two questions connected with the poem, If I Could Fly. The child in the poem speaks about her wish, and what are her wishes. We have to write the wish of the girl, and in the next question, that is a child-centered question, we will ask our kids, what are your wishes? So here we can use a hypothetical situation, an imaginary situation, for making them more interactive, or for developing their speaking ability. We, the teachers, can provide some imaginary questions. Okay, we can add the question that imagine you have two wings, or if you have the power to fly, what would you do? What all things will you do? Okay, where will you go? What will you do? So these kind of imaginary questions will help the students to be more interactive. അവർക്കറിയുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരുടെ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവിൽ നമ്മൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിച്ചാൽ they will be more interactive. We can make, the teachers can make more hypothetical situation or hypothetical questions. This is one of the questions that we can make use in this poem. Imagine you got the power to fly high. Where will you go? What will you do? Sure, as kids have to say, they would speak a lot to us. Definitely, they will speak a lot. Yeah. Then when we move into the activities of this lesson, the first one is a conversation writing. Write a conversation between Ivan and the old man. So, writing a conversation, that's the most important thing. When they reach in high school classes, they will have two types of questions. One, a direct conversation, and the second one is conversation completion. So this is an essential part. We should make our kids perfect in conversation writing. We can give them certain instructions. What's a conversation? No need to say about that. They know that what's a conversation. Yeah. So we have to push them by giving what is or how we can begin a conversation. What's a formal conversation and what's an informal conversation? And what are the words or how we can begin a formal conversation and how we can begin an informal conversation. So we can begin a formal conversation or informal conversation in different ways. Okay, for example, we can introduce ourselves. We can introduce ourselves or offer help. We can offer help to others. Offer help, I think it is mostly used in formal conversations. May I help you, sir? So likewise, in formal conversation, we are using or we are beginning with a with an offering of a help. Then we can mention an experience, then ask about them. We can ask about them, then comment on something pleasant and praise the person. This all I'm talking or I'm telling about how we can begin a perfect conversation. Then ask for help, then talk about a common interest. ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ മുഴുവൻ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിലൂടെ നമുക്ക് ഒരു കൺവെർസേഷൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം എന്ന് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കണം. വി ഷുഡ് ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ട് അവർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഹൗ ടു ബിഗിൻ എ പെർഫെക്റ്റ് കൺവെർസേഷൻ. ഓക്കെ, അത് നിർബന്ധമാണ്. ഹൗ ടു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് എ കൺവെർസേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ലൈക്ക്വൈസ് ഹൗ ടു എൻഡ് എ കൺവെർസേഷൻ. If they get a starting and an end, they will do the remaining parts. Okay, so by providing these hints, the teachers can make their kids perfect in conversation completion. When we move to the next one, this is activity 2, as a poster making. Here we have to tell them about the difference of poster, slogans and placards. പലപ്പോഴും കുട്ടികൾ ആ ഒരു കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ അവർക്ക് വരാറുണ്ട്, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും ചെറിയ കുട്ടികൾക്ക്. പോസ്റ്റർ ആൻഡ് പ്ലക്കാർഡ് ആൻഡ് സ്ലോഗൻസ്. Okay, you can tell them these are all associated with each other. Poster or notice or placards, their aim is one, but their fit or their structure is different. So likewise, we will help the kids by providing certain tips how to write or how to prepare a better poster. We don't have to tell them or we don't have to give them a note about poster preparation, as they are small kids. വലിയൊരു നോട്ടൊക്കെ കൊടുത്ത് ഇങ്ങനെ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു വലിയ നോട്ടൊക്കെ എഴുതി ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് പോസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവർക്കത് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരിക്കും, ആസ് they are small kids. But we have to tell them the features of a poster in a simple manner. Likewise, there should be a heading. We can use illustrations, pictures. A topic sentence or a sentence must be there. Only 3 or 4 steps. That's enough for a good poster. So this is the next thing I want to remind you, that should not give notes about poster preparation, but we can make use of some models of posters, and that will definitely help our kids to do posters. Then activity 3, thought writing. What could be the thoughts of Ivan then? Writing the thoughts. And thought making, this is one of the important point that we should remind in our, or that we should keep in our mind, thought writing. ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന്റെ മൈൻഡിൽ മാത്രമല്ല, നമ്മൾ കുട്ടികൾക്കും അതിനെക്കുറിച്ചൊരു ചെറിയൊരു അവയർനെസ് കൊടുക്കണം. ബിക്കോസ് till I think ഞാൻ നോക്കിയ സമയത്ത് till the 7th standard, the students have to write the thoughts of a particular person. Then after, when they reach in high school classes, these thoughts slowly turn into diary writing. Onwards, the children are instructed to write the diary of a particular character. So I think thought writing is a smaller, a photocopy or a small copy of diary writing. And we can tell our kids thoughts, the first person, we can use the first person for thought writing, and it is same happening in the case of diary entry. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ ആ തോട്ട് മേക്കിംഗ് ഹൗ ടു റൈറ്റ് എ തോട്ട് എന്നുള്ളത് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് നന്നായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുത്താലേ അവർക്ക് ഭാവിയിൽ ഇൻ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ദേ ക്യാൻ ഈസിലി ഗ്രാസ് ദ ഐഡിയ ഓഫ് എ ഡയറി റൈറ്റിംഗ്. അപ്പം അതുകൊണ്ട് ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് എപ്പോഴും അത് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. ഹൗ ടു പ്രിപ്പയർ a thought of how to prepare the thought of a particular person is much important. Different kinds of variety of sentences can be used here. Variety of sentences. So through thought making activity, the child will be familiar with variety of sentences. You can use exclamatory sentences there and declarative assertive sentences here. ഒന്നും നമ്മൾ കുട്ടികളോട് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കണ്ട, but without knowing, the child will be familiar with all these sentences. So teachers, thought writing നമ്മളൊന്ന് ചിന്തിക്കുക, ഭാവിയിലുള്ള അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മാറ്ററാണ് തോട്ട് റൈറ്റിംഗ് എന്നുള്ള കാര്യം. Then the next one is activity 4 and match the pictures. That's so easy, no need to explain that. And next one is description. Here some pictures, so it will be easy for them to complete. But when they reach in high school classes or UP classes, they will provide only a single picture and will ask them to write a description. So this is also important. We should tell our students, or we should instruct our students how to describe things. Let them describe themselves first. Let them describe about their family members. Let them describe about their friends first. And through giving these simple, silly tasks, we can take our kids to describe the other things, unfamiliar things. Okay, that's it. Next one is so simple. That's different parts of a bird. That's so simple, and it's easy for us to do. Here in activity 7, this is what I mean. Description. As kids are asked to describe the scene in their own words. ചില സമയത്ത് ചില കുട്ടികൾ ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. They will put only the single words. Describe the picture എന്ന ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വരുമ്പോൾ പറയും trees, rain, or water, man, likewise. So the teacher should instruct them what's the description that I told you earlier. What's the description? How we can make a good description, and what are the things that we should keep in mind while we are doing a description. Description must be in sentence. We can use adjectives. Likewise, we will give a lot of tips to our kids, and surely they will make what wonderful descriptions. Then when we follow the other activities, activity 8, activity 9, activity 10, these all are easy, or I think there is no need to give stress on these activities, as it is so familiar and easy for you. For the students also, not only for the teachers, the students also, these activities are coming under the category of familiar one. Okay, they are very interested to do riddles, and they are very much interested to add lines to a song or poem. So there is no need to give much stress on these activities. ഇതൊക്കെ അവരെ കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് സ്വന്തം ചെയ്യിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ആണ്. ദ റോൾ ഓഫ് ടീച്ചർ ഇസ് വെരി ലെസ് ഇൻ ദിസ് കേസസ്. വളരെ കുറച്ച് മാത്രം ഒരു പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേഷൻ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിൻ്റെത് കൊടുത്താൽ മതി. ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ project work is connected with the adjectives. Then Next one is we should help them to find out how to prepare, help them to teach how to prepare opposite words by using the word tis. It's so easy. ചെറിയ കുട്ടികളായിരിക്കുമ്പോഴേ കുറേയൊക്കെ കേട്ട് പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. ഒരു ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു പുഷപ്പ് കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ they will do all these activities. Then teachers, these are all the main activities that I have to tell you related to this unit 4. അപ്പം ജസ്റ്റ് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് അതിൽ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ നോട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്തു. We should help them to write thoughts, how to begin a thought, what are the features of a thought. Then next one, what? Experts in post-terming. So these are all the things that I have to tell you related to the or connected with the unit 3, the language of birds. And after doing all these activity, after completing our lesson, the teacher should make sure that they can fulfill or they can complete or they are satisfied with what they planned earlier. Whether they would be able to connect the theme, the sub-theme, or they will be satisfied with the, or they will make, or they can make their kids experts, or they can fulfill all the learning objectives that they have planned earlier. ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആക്ടിവിറ്റി ഓർ യൂണിറ്റ് 4 ഓക്കെ. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. പക്ഷെ കുറച്ചൊരു പുഷപ്പ് തന്ന് അതിൽ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ നോക്കേണ്ടത് എന്താണ് എന്നുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രമേ ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളൂ. നോ നീഡ് ടു എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ദ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ലെസൺസ്, നോ നീഡ് ടു റീഡ് ദ സ്റ്റോറി, നോ നീഡ് ടു എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ദ ലൈൻസ് ഓഫ് ദ പോയം. ഇവിടെ അതൊന്നും പറയേണ്ട കാര്യം ഇല്ല. അതിൻ്റെ കുറച്ച് ടിപ്സ് ഓൺലി ഞാൻ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഐ ഹോപ്പ് ദ 4th യൂണിറ്റ് ഇസ് ക്ലിയർ ഫോർ യു. Is it clear for you, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for support. ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഒരു സൗണ്ട് ഒക്കെ ആവാട്ടോ. Yes. So when we move into the next unit, unit 4, the lost child. As I told you, the first and foremost thing that a teacher should do is to find out a theme for our unit. Theme. Can anybody tell me what's the theme of the unit, the lost child? Can anybody tell me? What would be the theme? നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടത് ഈ ഒരു യൂണിറ്റിലൂടെ? എന്ത് തീമാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കേണ്ടത്? Can anybody tell me? I think all of you know the story well, so it will be easy for you to find out a theme for that. No? I think the theme that I can find out in this unit is family ties. The relation, the intimacy among the family members. You know that no one can substitute our parents. We have to give this lesson to our kids, especially in the present world. Nothing and no one can substitute our parents. So bond between parents and children is the sub-theme that I can find in this unit. Okay, theme is family ties and sub-theme is bond between parents and children. Then also, like the 3rd unit, the 4th unit, the lost child has certain learning outcomes that you can see in your textbook. Some learning outcomes are listed in the textbook itself. നമ്മൾ ഇതെല്ലാം ഈ ഒരു ലേണിംഗ് ഈ യൂണിറ്റ് പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇതൊക്കെ they will be able to this and that എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്യണം. അതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ that's for we are setting certain learning outcomes. So here also I have find out some other learning outcomes for our unit, the lost child. Let me share my screen once more.
Excuse me, ma'am. I think your voice is not audible.
Okay,
Yeah, now it's
sorry,
clear.
sir.
Now it's clear.
Yes. The teachers, here an entry activity is given in the textbook itself. There is no need to find out a new one for our kids. I think our kids are always active in doing these kinds of works. They are very much interested to story. Likewise, we can ask our students, or definitely our kid will answer that nothing can substitute our parents. I will never disobey my parents. I will obey my parents. So, if we are able to get these kind of responses from our kids, we will be happy that we can thoroughly or completely able to provide the theme or sub-theme or the moral lesson to our kids. That's it. Then here also, I have suggested you to do an extra activity. Okay, an extra activity that we will ask our kids, can you predict or can you tell what will happen to the boy then? Is he reached in a safe hand? Likewise, നമുക്കൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ അവരോട് ചോദിക്കാം, ഇനി എന്തായിരിക്കും ആ കുട്ടിയുടെ അവസ്ഥ? Can you write a story based on that? Can you imagine that? അപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളുടെ അവരുടെ ക്രിയേറ്റിവിറ്റി, we can arouse the creativity of our kids. They will turn the story in different ways. Okay, they will respond different manners. ആ കുഞ്ഞിന്റെ അവസ്ഥ എന്തായിരിക്കും, ഇനി എവിടെ എത്തും, എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും എന്നൊക്കെ. or like an interactive section, you can do this activity. Predict the future of that boy. Okay, so after taking the whole story, likewise you have to prepare or you have to plan to do some imaginary situations like this. കുറച്ചുകൂടി അവർക്കൊരു ക്രിയേറ്റിവിറ്റി കൂടാനുള്ള ഇമാജിനറി സിറ്റുവേഷൻസ് നമുക്ക് തന്നെ അവരുടെ മുന്നിൽ ഇട്ട് കൊടുത്താൽ അവരൊരുപാട് ക്രിയേറ്റീവായിട്ട് ചിന്തിക്കും, especially small kids. Then here also we can say a poem of William Blake, The Lost Child. The poem also, yeah, the same theme, shows the feeling of a lost child. Yeah, then this poem, you will get this poem, the audio or video of this poem in the YouTube. As I told you, my audio is not supportive. That's why I cannot play the videos here. When you search in YouTube, you will get a load of supporting materials that we are in this story or poem. That all you can use in your classroom. Then when we discuss the poem, we can give stress on the rhyming words. I think from the first standard itself, they are learning what's a rhyming word. Then we will help our kids to find out the rhyming words. Then here they are asked to prepare or add more lines to a poem. And all these activities are familiar for them. ഇതൊന്നും നമ്മൾ അത്ര അങ്ങ് സ്ട്രെസ് കൊടുത്ത് ചെയ്യിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യങ്ങളല്ല. ഒന്ന് ആ റൈമിംഗ് വേർഡ്സ് മാത്രം എന്താണ് എന്നുള്ളത് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കുറച്ച് കൂടുതലായിട്ട്, വാട്ട്സ് എ റൈമിംഗ് വേർഡ്, ഹൗ ക്യാൻ വി ഫൈൻഡ് ദ റൈമിംഗ് വേർഡ് എന്നുള്ളത് മാത്രം ഒന്ന് സ്ട്രെസ് ചെയ്ത് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുത്താൽ മതിയാവും. Then when we move on, the first activity is my favorites. The child in this story likes laddu, and you will also have a list of your favorite items. Now fill in the box with the details. Here, as I told you earlier, what thought is the first step of diary entry. Here we can see profile making. Profile making is also an expected question for the high school students. Profile making. Here the kid is asked to prepare their own profiles. ഇവിടെ നമുക്കൊരു സ്ട്രെസ് കൊടുക്കാം കുട്ടിക്ക്, how to write about themselves. They might have known about that. ചെറിയ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ introducing themselves അവർ പഠിച്ചു വന്നിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. But anyway, yeah, we can give a stress on how to write a profile. Okay. Let us ask them their favorites items first and how to take that favorite items into a sentence. So I think all these activities are caters the process of sentence making. Whatever the activity we are planning to give to our kids, that promotes their ability of making a perfect sentence. എപ്പോഴായാലും നമ്മൾ അതിനാദ്യം ഒരു സ്ട്രെസ് കൊടുക്കണം. ഈവൻ ഇപ്പോഴും കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ തെറ്റിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഓർഡർ ഓഫ് സെന്റൻസ് പാറ്റേൺ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ഒരു പാർട്സ് ഓഫ് സ്പീച്ചിന്റെ ഒരു ലൊക്കേഷൻ അവർക്ക് വരുന്നതാണ്. സോ വാട്ട് എവർ ആക്ടിവിറ്റി വി ആർ പ്രൊവൈഡിങ് ടു ദം, we should promote them to write the sentence correctly, or a complete sentence, how to form a correct sentence. So here also through the profile making, we can provide our kids a way to write a perfect sentence. ഇതും നമുക്ക് കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്ക് വലിയ അവര് മുന്നോട്ട് പോകുമ്പോൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതലായിട്ട് അവർക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ആക്ടിവിറ്റിയാണ് പ്രൊഫൈൽ മേക്കിംഗ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഓർമ്മ നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. The next one is familiar conversation. Conversation, we have discussed about the what structure of or that certain sentences that we can use in formal and informal conversation. Again, we will instruct our kids to remember these points while they are preparing a conversation. How to begin a good conversation, how to end up a good conversation. കാരണം പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു പെർഫെക്ഷൻ ഇല്ലാതെ ബിഗിനിങ് ഓക്കെ, ബട്ട് മെനി ഓഫ് ദ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആർ അൺഏബിൾ ടു എൻഡ് ദ കൺവെർസേഷൻ ഇംപെർഫെക്റ്റ്. അവർക്കത് പെർഫെക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തൊരു ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പോഴും കുട്ടികളിൽ കാണാനായിട്ട് പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ അഗൈൻ വി ഗോട്ട് എ ചാൻസ് ടു മേക്ക് ദം റിമെമ്പർ ദ what features of a good conversation. And again, thoughts. These all activities are repeatedly coming. അല്ലെ, എല്ലാം വീണ്ടും 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 വന്നുകൊണ്ടേ ഇരിക്കുകയാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഇതൊക്കെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് അവർക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്ന എക്സ്ട്രാ പോയിന്റ്സിലേക്ക് ആഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. അപ്പം എല്ലാം കൂടി ഒരു അറ്റ് എ ടൈം നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് പോസിബിൾ ടു ഗിവ് ദം എ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് ടിപ്സ്. Not possible. So if we are discussing about how to begin a good conversation in the first unit, we can tell them how to end up in the second unit activity. Okay, adinte kuda namukku paranju kodukam. Likewise, the thought, we are already discussed how to write a thought. Thought is always a first person narrative. So what is who is the first person that we can mention here? നമ്മൾ അവിടെ പറഞ്ഞതിന്റെ ബാക്കി ഭാഗങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ആഡപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് we can add a little more. We can present it before the kids now in the next unit. ആ യൂണിറ്റിൽ തന്നെ എല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കേണ്ട. We can give something more to the next unit. And also I think the coming unit also consists of these kinds of discourses. നമുക്ക് അതിങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞു പോകേണ്ട കാര്യം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ബട്ട് we can add up something more to our kids. ആദ്യം കുറച്ച് ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ്, ദെൻ അതിനേക്കാളും കുറച്ചുകൂടി, പിന്നെ അതിനേക്കാളും കുറച്ചുകൂടി, അങ്ങനെ കുട്ടികൾ പോലും അറിയാതെ indirectly we can make them perfect in this discourse writings. Yeah. Then here also the child's thought. What would be the child's thoughts? The child is lost, and we can ask them, imagine if you are in the place of that child. What would you do? How would you react? അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറച്ച് ഇന്ററാക്റ്റീവ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും കൂടെ നമുക്ക് ചോദിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയാൽ that is better. Okay, teachers, I hope all these ideas are clear for you, and I don't know whether we will be able to complete this unit right now, as it is almost 4:45. So I hope let us stop this unit from here and we'll continue the unit in the next class. കുറച്ചുകൂടി കൂടുതൽ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ഒക്കെ റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് let's discuss about all these activities once more, and we will continue that. Have you had anything to ask me?
Your class is very useful, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you tell your name, ma'am?
I'm Jijita.
Okay.
Okay. We got extra ideas to approach each activities.
Yeah. Actually, that
Thank
I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, it is something good. Your class was good, ma'am, and it was something useful for me because I am just a beginner to teach in the class. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear these comments from you. And I think that there is no need to say the aims and objectives of an English teacher. You know that. What's the aims and objectives? So I think this will be more useful for you to give you some more ideas. Then linkling my idea with your idea, I think you all will do wonders in your classroom. Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam,
Yes, yes.
can you give me new idea how to write teaching note, new way,
New method.
new method?
Actually, while we are writing teaching notes, we should give much concentration on, or we should give or we concentrated on child center. That's the most important thing. നമ്മൾ പണ്ടത്തെ ഒരു conventional method എന്ന് മാറിയിട്ട് that is child centered and activity oriented. I told you now, we should set up a theme, a basic theme. Then we can set up a sub theme for our lesson. Then find out learning objectives. And after that, we have to find out the discourses that we can make, that we can give our kids through that particular lesson. Okay, first we should set a theme based. Everything is theme based. Then we should set up a sub theme, then some learning objectives, then set up some discourses and activities, and grammar aspects. I think the main drawback, not a drawback actually, I can't say that, നമ്മൾ ഗ്രാമറിന് അത്ര ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് കൊടുക്കാത്ത ഒരു പോലെ എനിക്ക് ചിലപ്പോൾ തോന്നാറുണ്ട്. Because when our kids are reaching in the high school classes, they will have to answer 15 marks, they will get under the grammar category. So many of our kids are not able to do the grammar portions well, you know. So as LP session or LP level is a foundation stage, we should give much concentration on grammar aspects also. So when we write our teaching note, we can put or we can add what are the grammar portions that I can teach my students through this particular lesson. Is it clear, ma'am?
Oh, clear. Thank you very much.
Then also we can make 2 tables. Yeah. If you need any more explanation, you can connect me.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Anything else? Anybody? Anything else? So I just forgot to introduce myself, teachers.
Could you
This
please
is the first
name?
Hi, yes. I'm Bindu from SVM HSS Kotuli, Calicut.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's all, I think. Nothing else. And hope we will meet in the next session also. Martin sir, let me wind up the class.
Yeah, ma'am, we can write up. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you all. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.